City 1051 FM.
Coronavirus pandemic is still on, and lockdown is gradually being eased. So we hope that very soon we'll get back to regular activity like we were all used to prior to now. And for me, I'm enjoying it, even though the guys say they are not enjoying the whole thing, but it's fine by me. There are other ways of doing things. By the way, I'm Wilfred Mung, D Silent G, and Sports City Hangouts, season 2. Yeah, we had one the other time talking about the Super Falcons. And eventually the guys were split. Who was the best Super Falcons player of all time? So that conversation continues. But today we want to do something different, a little bit different. We want to talk about the Bundesliga, which is the only league, the football league, in Europe, or should I say top flight of major leagues in Europe to return. Because don't mention Belarus here. So... but anyway, they are on 2 weeks gone now, and of course the Klassiker is coming up tomorrow, which is that big game between Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich. And so we're just wondering if Borussia Dortmund can go on and win the league this season. That's actually the core of the conversation that we'll be holding today. And the guys are here. Onome Apio, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Rooting for Dortmund to win the league this season. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that match.
Correct guy. Damiloju, are you also rooting for Dortmund?
I think they'll push Bayern very, very closely, but I still think Bayern Munich are going to win the German Bundesliga again. But it's interesting to see what tomorrow holds. The two biggest teams.
Bayern, they've done it, I think, 6 times in a row now. They're about 6 or 7.
7. I think 7.
7, and they won't do 8. Nah, I beg, Dortmund, no agree. Yola Obiwale, how you doing?
How far? How's my audio now? I hope it's better. I think Leipzig have a big chance of winning the league this season. Dortmund and Bayern will just do all the dirty work for them. So we'll see how Nagelsmann gets his first trophy, in his first season as Leipzig manager. That would be fantastic.
That would be nice. Underdog story, considering how they came into the Bundesliga. Lutana Oruche. By the way, it's 11 a.m. where you are. Good morning, Lutana.
Good morning. I think Obiala, his hopes are not going to become a reality. Leipzig is not going to win the Bundesliga. Bayern is going to win the Bundesliga because I think this Bayern team is actually really good. Like, to be honest, I think they are really good, better than last season and the season before that, and maybe even the season before that. It's actually a really complete side, so I don't think Dortmund as well can win it this season. It's for Bayern.
All right, so the guys are split. Biola thinks Leipzig, Onome, Damiloju are hoping Dortmund will do it, same as me. So we'll see if Dortmund... What?
I'm not hoping Dortmund. I said Bayern will win the league.
Oh, you said Bayern will win? Okay, so 2 for Bayern, 2 for Dortmund, 1 for Leipzig. We'll come back to that conversation much later, but let's just look at what's happening in the Bundesliga as a whole. Like the Bundesliga returned 2 weeks ago, which is quite courageous, taking the lead. But in your opinion, guys, do you actually see this restart as being premature? Biola, you go first.
All right. I don't think so. I feel like it's very necessary for the Bundesliga to kick off, mainly because the Bundesliga, for a lot of the German Bundesliga clubs, their main source of revenue is from the fans, the gate receipts. And the fact that that is already out of the way means that any other source of income that they can get is very necessary to keep a lot of those clubs afloat. So, yes, as you know, you have the 49 plus 1, so 50 plus 1 Bundesliga rule, which means that they don't really have individual owners like the Premier League teams where you have the sheikhs and the Americans owning. They need, the TV revenue, they need the league revenue, any source of income that can come into the teams at the moment. The earlier they start it and get it over with, the better for them. So I don't think it's premature at all. I think it's good that they started the league. And you know what? They're like the guinea pigs for the rest of Europe. England, Spain, they want to get back. So, we'll see how this experiment goes and how it makes the other countries proceed to doing theirs as well.
Okay, I had to throw that question to you, Biola, and I have another one for Lutana. By the way, mentioned as here in Nigeria, but I've already picked the brain of the guys concerning the Bundesliga. We spoke about it extensively on Saturday during Sports City Extra. That's on City 1051. But looking at, that's why I'm coming to you now, Lutana. The league has started, 2 weeks gone. But what do you actually make of it in total? Like looking at the areas of what's the football like compared to what it was prior to the pandemic? And also, do you actually think that teams are being fatigued? What's your general thoughts about it?
Okay, I think basically the fitness levels look okay, to be honest. There's not much of a drop off, but of course, like you expect like a little change, because before the pandemic, of course, teams were in their rhythm. They've played a lot of games, so now it's just a bit. But I think like if anyone wants to concentrate on that, person's just overestimating it. I think the Bayern sides, the Dortmund sides, even Leipzig yesterday, you can see like these players are actually playing really still good at a good level. So I don't think it has really affected their rhythm.
All right, for some, they've won 2 out of 2. Good victories for them, and lots of goals actually. Speaking of goals, the one person comes to mind, that Schalke goalkeeper. The guy is still there.
Schubert.
Sorry, I didn't hear that, Biola.
Schubert, the goalkeeper, Schubert. He's he's the one.
He's reserved goalkeeper. He doesn't play much.
Yeah. But I mean,
okay,
it's
all right, but
hear me? Sorry, it seems like my audio is very bad. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Actually, it is. Yeah, better now.
All right. What I was gonna say is he's like 21 years old. The guy who's noble is good. So I'm sorry.
Okay, Biola, just hold your thoughts. We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Okay, go on, Biola. Go on.
Okay, so I was saying that Alex. So I guess he's on the bench. Schubert gets to run in. I mean, I'm guessing till the rest of the season, just for them to know whether they're going to have to replace Noble or not. I mean, clearly they're going to need to buy a new goalkeeper at Schalke because he's not up to scratch yet. Every game he seems to be making one mistake or the other. I mean, the only goalkeeper that's worse than him now is Mainz's Florian Müller, to be honest. So I think it's just fair that Schalke look for another goalkeeper in the summer. It's not. If not, I mean, and if they don't get Noble back into the starting 11, I see their season just declining. As it progresses.
Okay, so let's stay in Germany quickly. Of course, the Bundesliga is on the whole coronavirus thing. Lots of safety measures being introduced. I need to grade at the moment. Damilojo, you've seen 2 rounds of games, and so far, how would you grade the whole, social distancing and all the whole wearing of masks during interviews and all that?
Okay, so for the interviews, you can see that players are actually maintaining social distancing, not just the players, the interviewers also. They've made use of mics that can extend to make sure that they and the players keep at least 2 meters from each other. Where have the issue is on the field of play. I'll give about 3 different instances. The first one that comes to mind, the Schalke Dortmund game. There's a lot of social distancing going around some scenarios, social distance. Dortmund were playing, and of course, there had to be a Schalke wall. You can't tell the defending players to social distance when they're defending a free kick. That's one. There was an incident with Dedrick Boyata, where after a goal for his team was scored, he was so excited and he went and he was involved in an embrace with his.
I think he went back to the teammates.
Some of the, there were, from pictures and videos, it looked like there was actually a peck exchange there, even though he said he was just telling him and all whatnot. But what we're saying is, as much as we saw the likes of Erling Haaland and Torgan Hazard try to practice social distancing during the celebrations, we're still going to have situations where there are corners, there are free kicks, players are tugging at each other's shirts. And imagine if the situation that happened with Cologne, where they were able to get 2 late goals against Düsseldorf, you know that the adrenaline is going to rush into these players, and more often than not, we're going to see hugs, embraces, and I just think it might have been a little too early to restart the league because we're going to have these issues with social distancing.
I actually think that on the pitch, they are breaking the whole protocol concerning social distancing. I don't know if any other person disagrees. You can speak.
No. There can't be social distancing while playing football, actually. You have to tackle the ball. You have to, in the corner, for the corner, players in the box, things like this. It's not possible to practice it, actually, while playing football. It's not.
All right, one thing has actually been bothering me, which is what's been happening in Bundesliga to Dresden, to be specific. If we were to have the same happen to any of the Bundesliga teams, that means their games will be postponed. And if that's the case, fixtures will be staggered. Are we looking at, Biola, if you can hear me, I'd like you to respond to this.
Yeah.
If that is the case, let's say 1 or 2 teams, players test positive. At the end, we may not have a complete Bundesliga season.
Yeah, it's very unlikely, in that scenario. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it because, as you know, every day 1 or 2 cases are popping up in the Premier League. You're asking yourself, would that league kick off? If something like that happens in the Bundesliga, does that team definitely has to be quarantined, or are you looking at a situation maybe where only the players are quarantined? Because the Bundesliga procedure now at the moment is sort of possible, even, as far as in the hotel rooms. So I'm guessing if 1 or 2 players test positive for coronavirus, it might not necessarily affect how the whole team, is going to play at the moment. But I mean, it's really, really tricky to say. I hope that that's not the case because it's just another problem that no one wants to deal with at the moment. If they're going to be postponing games for that team, I'm hoping worst case scenario, it gets to maybe the point where it's just 4 or 3 games. And then, whenever they can get those games going, they do. Because if they're going to be title deciding games or relegation deciding games, it's going to be very, very tricky, how those matches play out. But now, I'm guessing that if a player is positive, and they're able to get it, then they can easily quarantine him and get the league going.
All right, you mentioned title deciding games, and I think it's only natural that we talk about what will be happening tomorrow evening. Our kickoff for that should be 5:30 p.m.
Yes.
5:30 p.m. tomorrow. So I was really hoping that Frankfurt will do us a favor and probably hold Bayern, but unfortunately that did not happen. And Bayern being Bayern, all right, we all know the story. Put 5 past them. But this particular game between Dortmund and Bayern, it's been one-sided for as long as I can remember.
I think it's an overrated
the last
match.
4 fixtures. Oh, you think it's an overrated
Big
one?
match because Bayern always flogs them mercilessly. Seriously, to be honest, it just always happens every season. We've seen 4-0s, 5-0s, 5-1s in the last few seasons. Like, seriously.
I think there was a 6 sometime. Yes. I can't remember. But
6-0.
Okay, so overrated. That's what Lutana says. So Lutana doesn't give them a chance. I don't know if anybody gives Dortmund a chance in this.
No,
I give, especially with Haaland in the picture.
Yeah, you could say that. But the thing is this, remember 2 seasons ago, this same fixture at the Signal Iduna, Dortmund won 3-2. And then you're looking at a team that obviously they're looking stronger than they've been in recent seasons. I think I haven't seen Dortmund with so much renewed belief and vigor as they've been playing with. Haaland has been a great addition to that side, and Sancho obviously doing so well with his assists. Now, when a player is putting all those assists and passes, and you know that there's a striker up there that is going to score those goals for you, you would obviously be more confident playing game in, game out. up front, they are looking very good. Julian Brandt looks very, very amazing too. Thorgan Hazard, if he doesn't start, he comes off the bench, is a good addition. And I think the fullbacks has been really good for them. Imagine Hakimi and Guerrero scoring in recent weeks. Guerrero has scored in back-to-back games and assist. So it looks like everything is going up for Dortmund at the moment. But the one issue I think they might have is Hummels, who went off injured in that game at the weekend. It's going to be a great worry. It means that possibly Emre Can is going to not play in that centre back like he did in that game. Obviously, you want not just a central defender, but a leader like Hummels. Hummels is a good leader in that team. Everyone respects him. You want that kind of player going into a big game like this for you. But regardless, I still feel that Dortmund have a very huge momentum going for them. And I really see them pushing Bayern tomorrow. And I think they really have a chance to get 3 points.
I'll come to Viola later, because if I come to him now, he'll want to convince me on why he thinks Leipzig will go on to win the league this season.
Come on, that's a joke.
All right, but Damiluju, I just look at this fixture and something just tells me that this may just be Dortmund's season. When they did it under Jurgen Klopp, they were quite dominant. They won, I think there was one they won by as much as 10 points or thereabout off Bayern Munich in second. I think the second season in 2011-2012 was much closer. But the way they are playing, especially since Haaland came in, and again, Bayern have actually faltered in certain games this season that you didn't expect them to lose. One readily comes to mind, the game against Bayer Leverkusen when they lost at home. And okay, sorry, I got a message on my phone from Zoom. I had to look at that quickly. Okay, so that particular loss against Bayer Leverkusen and a few other losses here and there, I just feel that Bayern have been inconsistent. And nothing changed for them really in January. And for Dortmund, it's more like a whole lot of change with Haaland. Don't you think that if Dortmund maintains this consistency, that Bayern may just get to slip at some point and Dortmund will just take advantage and run home with a title?
It definitely is a possibility, especially because this match is at the Signal Iduna Park. Now, apart from, I think in 2017, when Bayern Munich actually went to the Signal Iduna Park to get an away victory, Dortmund have been relatively okay against Bayern at home. They were able to win last season, and then 3 seasons ago, they also won, and then there was a time they drew their match. My issue with Borussia Dortmund is, even though they've been on fire form, and I heard you talk about Bayern
they concede.
Yeah. No, Dortmund have been, fortunately for Dortmund, since we came back from the break, they've actually scored 6 unreplied goals, 4-0 and 2-0. But the issue here is...
That's just 2 games.
Yeah, in the last 10 games, we're counting the 8 games before the break, Bayern Munich are actually unbeaten in the Bundesliga, 9 wins and a draw. While for Dortmund is 9 wins and a loss. So it tells you that even though Bayern Munich might not be playing most convincing of football, and then they've showed certain cracks this season, they still know how to get the goals and they know how to get the wins. They've scored 80 goals in just 27 games. That's the first time in Bundesliga history a team has this many goals. That's averaging just under 3 goals per game. And then when you look at the likes of Lewandowski, who obviously guarantee you 25 Bundesliga goals every season, Gnabry is in the form
and
of
at least
life.
they brace against Dortmund.
You said?
And at least they brace against Dortmund. He guarantees that too.
His former employers.
Add that.
The guys who gave you work permits in Germany.
There's also the investigator Thomas Muller, who is racking up assists like no man's business. So I can see that this Dortmund team are really exciting. Like Onome said, Erling Haaland seems to always just put the ball in the back of the net. I just feel like with the ridiculous numbers that this Bayern Munich team is putting, and the fact that anybody, literally anybody can score for this Bayern team. If Lewandowski is not scoring, Muller is scoring. If Muller is not scoring, he's assisting Gnabry to score. Goretzka can come in and get a goal. I just think that this Bayern Munich team might just have a little too much for this Borussia Dortmund side.
All right, Biola, you get your chance now. You want to talk about Leipzig. Leipzig, they have a very lovely story, honestly, how they got promoted and pushing everyone in the Bundesliga. Even though the same could be said of Borussia Dortmund, because at some point, I think around 2004, they almost went into administration and Bayern surprisingly dashed them. Oh, no, borrowed them some money, even though that was just about 4% of what they were looking for there. But at least that saved them and paid some salaries. But what I'm trying to say is Leipzig, they've taken everyone or the league by storm and see where they are. Timo Werner obviously doing wonders for them. But I don't personally agree, or I don't see it happening that Leipzig will upstage Borussia Dortmund and Bayern to win this. Maybe you want to convince us.
Nah, you're right. There's no chance for Leipzig to win the league this season. I mean, I
So
was
what were
joking
you
about
saying?
that. So I was just playing because I just felt why not, But I completely agree with Damiloju in terms of the Klassiker game. I also agree with Lutana. It's going one way, Let's forget what's happened within the past 2 games for Dortmund. They've played against Schalke, a rubbish team, and they've literally depended on their fullbacks to do most of the scoring. I think that I was doing a little analysis yesterday, and when you put both teams on paper, the balance always shifts to Bayern's side, especially because they're going to play higher up the pitch. They're going to push the Dortmund players into their own pitch, and you have to see a lot of Dortmund players double teaming just to cover up the spaces. It's very difficult to see how Dortmund can beat this Bayern Munich side, to be honest, unless maybe one of the Bayern players catches a bug and then the whole team is sick. I really don't see what it is that Dortmund could do, especially to beat this Bayern Munich side. And the truth is, for me, Dortmund are very inconsistent. So I don't know the kind of Dortmund team that will turn up tomorrow. They've played 2 good games, and tomorrow they might decide this is the time for them to start playing rubbish. So you just have to look at that Bayern team and the fact that right now they're literally doing a whole rotation thing. Thiago didn't play in their last game against Frankfurt. I think Gnabry came on. So he's just eased in. From time to time. Müller, Goretzka. Players that are on form, Kingsley Coman as well, fantastic form he's on, and the fact that Joshua Kimmich is doing a fantastic job in the midfield, he allows players like Pavard and Alphonso Davies to do fantastically on the flanks, and I think that's where the battle will be. Davies against Hakimi, Pavard against Guerrero. I feel whoever wins that wing battle will probably win the game, but I really don't see Dortmund winning it.
All right. Maybe it's just time for us to look at the way they will shape up. Dortmund, 2 games now, same starting lineup. People are a little bit surprised that Jadon Sancho has started from the bench in both games. Damiloji, do you think this is the time he will walk straight into the starting lineup? But let me find out from Lutana. What does he think, or how do you think Dortmund will shape up in this?
I think there's a high chance they will go the same way. But of course, if I'm the coach, I'm going to start Sancho over Hazard. Of course, Julian Brandt has been in fantastic form. He's actually like the unsung. He's actually playing some real good football. But this is a big game, and of course, Sancho's impact since he came in. So I think Sancho will play, but we don't know what's happening behind the scenes. I feel it's a bit strange that Sancho hasn't started. We don't know if he hasn't been fit.
You don't think it's fatigue?
No, maybe actually, maybe he's actually been irresponsible with his personal fitness and stuff like this, and the coach. But this kind of it happens, But this kind of game, really, I think the coach might want to put that behind him and just play Sancho. But let's see. So far, so good. Hazard, Haaland, and Brandt has worked really well, I think.
Okay. Biola made mention of Bayern, lots of changes in the squad. But how do you see them lining up?
I think it's going to be more or less like what was in the last match. Obviously, we know what the front line is going to look like. Lewandowski up there. Müller has looked really good. I think much more improved than it was last season. So in a big game like this, you expect him to start. The back line, obviously the same shape and all that. Alphonso Davies always looked very, very good. Biola raves about that guy a whole lot, just like he raves much about Bukayo Saka. But I think he's still going to start there. Yeah. So it's all about if. I think the only question there is if Thiago Alcantara gets to start in this one.
Yeah.
So it's either him or Goretzka, because obviously you expect Kimmich to also start in that game. So for me, it's either Alcantara or Goretzka, and I have a feeling that Hans Flick might decide to start Thiago Alcantara ahead of Goretzka in this game.
Okay, quick one. We need to take a break. For season 2. But I need to find out from you guys. A few names have popped up during this conversation. Timo Werner, one of such names. Jadon Sancho has also been mentioned. Who else have we've not mentioned? No, Kai. We've not mentioned Kai. But these are guys that could leave in the summer. So let's just throw in Havertz there. Who else? This French guy at Leipzig, the defender,
Upamecano.
Yeah, you get. Oh, you could even mention Joshua, the Nigerian boy now at Bayern. Yeah, so lots of names. But all wait till they worry that we see the looks. Ziki, a Nigerian boy now.
I don't hear
Are you
you.
serious? Are you serious? You
And
want to go that far? Come on, Wilfred.
Okay, Alaba Nigeria, yes or no, even though it doesn't play
Alaba
for
na
us,
Nigerian boy. Alaba na straight Nigerian boy. Agbe is straight.
You don't see the name Alaba. You get. But of all these names I mentioned, who do you think will definitely leave this summer?
Whew. So personally, I think it's going to be very difficult for Bayer Leverkusen to hold on to Kai Havertz. I think with what he's playing so far, I was talking about it over the weekend, how in the last 5 game weeks, he had equaled his goals for the first 21 game weeks, and then now officially has scored 10 goals already this season in the league, and 6 of those goals have come in the last 6 matches. So he's in the form of his life, and then even in the last game, he was the captain. I just feel like with a lot of clubs sniffing around, it just feels like he might not even go outside Germany. It's very possible that if anybody comes for maybe Jadon Sancho, I can see a possibility of maybe if a club outside Germany comes for Jadon Sancho, Dortmund could look at Kai Havertz. But I just feel like...
But I'm sorry, why would you leave Bayer Leverkusen and go to Dortmund? Wait till you won't win.
Because you have a bigger chance of winning the...
Win what?
Wilfred.
I beg. Leave out to one side you and you go Dortmund. Daddy, I beg, relax.
No, I agree with Damilodi completely.
Oh, you agree?
Honestly, I feel like the only way Havertz would leave Leverkusen this season, that's in this summer, is if Dortmund come for him after Sancho leaves. If you look at it on paper, I mean, realistically speaking, nobody is really going to take the plunge on him yet. You know, he's still a bit, I won't say he's unproven, but he's still a bit rough on the edges. You know, you're not sure what you're going to get if you throw him out of Germany at the moment. Also, the Euros is next year. He's not going to want to risk missing out on the Euros if he goes to a team like maybe Liverpool and doesn't get game time, and then he won't play in the Euros.
They should try.
I feel like but I feel he'll give Leverkusen one more season. He'll give Leverkusen one more season if Dortmund don't come for him. And the only reason Dortmund will come for him is if they lose Sancho. So I really think he's not leaving Leverkusen. I think it's a 60-70% chance he's not leaving Leverkusen this season. I really think it depends on the Sancho move.
Okay, I don't know if you want to weigh in on this.
No, I think Abiola raised a very valid point. The fact that the Euros is not happening this year. If the Euros happen this year, you know, if the calendar went normally, I think lots of these guys could have really have moved because, you know, clubs are willing to make that deal after they've seen these guys play at the Euros. Now, players are still going to be quite careful about their movements because they really want to solidify their national team place ahead of next season, and they want to be at a club where they are sure to continue playing for. But by and large, I feel Sancho will leave. Kai Havertz, I think he'll still be at Leverkusen at the end of this season. Who else? Whose name? The Upamecano.
Yeah.
Upamecano might not leave. Funny enough, he might not, but it depends on who is willing to pay as much money as Leipzig want for him. But I really think that Timo Werner is going to leave the Bundesliga this season. At the end of this season.
And Liverpool are one of those who really want Werner, and he scored a hat-trick yesterday. Who wouldn't want him? But Tana, looking at all these guys' movement, okay, you said he should try Kai Havertz.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you mean?
I mean, he should try playing for Liverpool. Let's see if it works or not.
I'm playing.
You don't wish the guy bad luck, I mean.
No, but on
all right,
I think like these players are really fantastic players. I think 100% Sancho is going to leave. I think 100% is going to leave. But at the same time, I question Dortmund's ambition because this is a Dortmund side that in the last 2 seasons we've seen them push closer than the previous 5 seasons before. Okay, so we are thinking, okay, Dortmund has a chance, but where really lies this chance if they're going to continue being a selling club? Bayern is superior, they know this. And if what is the point of all this if the players at the club don't really also believe in the plan that they can get there too? So in order to get there, like we saw Liverpool over the first 2-3 seasons, it was like a building process. They kept on. Of course, some people wanted out. Some people didn't fully believe in because Coutinho and Richarlison they left, okay. But majority of the group stayed together and it was more about adding. And today they can stake a claim for being like the best team in the world and also the best team in the league. So I think for Dortmund, really, we can see the progression that they're actually now starting to push Bayern. And Bayern players are actually like in the old stage of their career. Okay, a lot of them are already dipping and stuff like this. So I don't know. I think Sancho is going to go, but I'm really going to question Dortmund's ambition because they're not going to grow if they are going to let Sancho go and then maybe bring in someone as good as Sancho or someone less. Like they need to stack on top of what they really have. So I think for Dortmund, really, you guys' hopes of them competing or whatever, I think it's almost not going to happen because they're just a selling club. Maybe next season Haaland will go as well.
Okay, we need to round off. Haaland will definitely go 60 million. Maybe we should just talk about Haaland and just end with Haaland. When that 60 million, when the 60 million euro release clause was inserted, I laughed and said, "But boy, oh my lord, Jerry, they will buy him immediately."
Madrid.
Do you see him staying beyond next season at Dortmund? This is to end this whole conversation. On May 1st.
Next season, no, he won't stay beyond next season.
Nah. Okay, Dami.
If he continues like this, he's leaving.
Is the longest time you're going to see Haaland at Borussia by the summer of 2021, most likely after the Euros. If Norway qualify, he's out.
Okay, what about you, Lieutenant?
I think the same actually, but maybe not. Maybe just maybe not. Maybe he's going to become a legendary Dortmund striker.
Wait, Dortmund, have they even had a legendary striker? I'm trying to remember.
Lewandowski.
But Lewandowski, how many seasons did he play?
Exactly.
Baba used the catch points, run, go buy and go to collect title. He didn't win he won one title. No, he won 2 with Dortmund.
Yeah, he won.
The first 2 seasons. Yeah, he won 2 with Dortmund. Okay, so Jola.
Yeah, Haaland, he's staying till 2022. I mean, he has an agreement with Dortmund about that. So after 2022, he's definitely leaving. I don't know why Dan just thinks that he will do only 1 year. They have an agreement. Haaland is a journeyman. I think he'll take the Ibrahimovic route. He's going to play in 15 clubs, never win the Champions League, but he will just travel around the world and be a legend, be a legendary striker.
So you don't want him to join the illustrious club of Buffon, Ronaldo, what's his name?
No, but he won't.
Ibrahimovic.
He wants to. He said
who is the other guy again? The German guy at Chelsea that lost 3 or 4 finals in 1 season. What's his name again? The German legend now that played at Chelsea. Ballack. Thank you. Okay, so I think that's basically it, Chad. So before we go again, who wins Bundesliga?
Dortmund.
Bayern first.
Bayern Munich.
Biola Bayern, Onome.
Dortmund.
Okay, Dami, Bayern.
Munich.
Lotana.
Bayern, of course.
Okay, so Wilfred, Dortmund. We'll see. And tomorrow, Dortmund is winning.
If they lose that match, just forget it.
Let's bet outside the Zoom room.
On Betway. Bet your way. All right, that game is 5 p.m. Tuesday. So that's why we had to do this. So you could get to watch it ahead of the game. And for me, I'm rooting for Dortmund all the way. And of course, Sport City, that will be on Wednesday. We'll give you the updates concerning this one. I'll be here with Nome when we do this on City 1051. Thank you so much. Lutana Oluche, of course, you would have listened to him a lot of times, especially on Sport City Extra on Saturday. He runs Tana Talk Sports, right?
Soccer.
Yeah, Tana. Say it again. Say it.
Cannot talk soccer.
Yeah, that's it. That's the website. You can check that up. It's actually a very insightful website. Well done, Baba.
City 1051 FM.